Story 1. My mom said communication is the key. Even about minor things, tell your partner. It is better than harboring small resentments. Keep the spark alive. Always act as if you are still trying to win them over. Do not get comfortable just because you are married. Story 2. Today is our 48th wedding anniversary. Communication matters. Have we had disagreements? Yes. Have we had heated arguments? Yes, but never any violence or abuse. We have been through many things together. We love each other and continue to share our feelings. Time has flown, and it is hard to believe it has been so long. Story 3, 13 years. We are both incompatible with almost everyone on earth, so we stick together. Story 4. We have been married 42 years. We spend time together and talk. We are best friends and still in the honeymoon stage. We never make big decisions without talking things out. My best advice is to consider it like a job. You have to work at it to get a good result. Story 5. We have our own blankets. Sharing a blanket is what ends relationships. Story 6. 31 years married, 38 years together. We dated 2 years and lived together 5, so we knew each other well. We truly care for each other and do not look for insults where none are intended. We are happy for one another even when we do not share the same interests, and we do not sweat the small stuff. My sister became a widow at a fairly young age. When I see my husband's clothes on the floor, I do not get mad. I think about how much my sister would love to see her husband's clothes on the floor. Story 7. It's a lot more complicated than one secret per se. There is a line in the book Think Like a Monk that describes love as something you create. I think everyone would benefit from it. Love isn't something you fall into. It's something you give, something you choose to create with another person. In English, love is more of an adjective, but in other parts of the world it's a verb. Choose to love. Choose to create love. Don't ever expect to feel it. Be pleasantly surprised when you do. Story 8. I am talking about the deep and dark stuff that holds you back from thriving as individuals and as a couple. We started struggling around 4 years in because we both ignored my severe depression, post-traumatic stress disorder, and anxiety. My husband was new to navigating a very mentally and emotionally draining job. We stopped talking about almost everything and avoided conversations beyond the surface level until about 7 years in. We have had many conversations that resulted in tears, anger, and frustration, but we are much stronger for it. And we are now more than 13 years into our relationship. Story 9. Separate bathrooms. Oh, and liking each other and having shared interests and life goals have gotten us through well over 20 years. Story 10. We communicate honestly. She is a fundamentally good person who chooses not to poison me, even when I deserve it. Story 11. I married my best friend when we were basically still kids. We grew up together and remain best friends. I have no idea what I did to deserve it or how we made it happen. We have 4 wonderful children. I have no idea how they all turned out so well. They are just good people. We talk, argue, and laugh a lot, all day, about everything. I guess that helps. Story 12. I have been married 17 years and together 20. When we got together, I had 3 rules: communication, trust, and good sex. We have stuck by them. Story 13. We love each other, of course, and we truly like one another. We have been together for almost 16 years and married for nearly 13. Story 14. She is my best friend, my closest advisor on all things, and by far my favorite person. Story 15. Communication. Being on the same side of the problem. We can be goofy together and be ourselves. He does not care that I am a bookie, and I do not care that he is a video game junkie. Apologize when you are wrong. Be each other's biggest cheerleader. Stand up for them when they cannot do it for themselves. At the end of the day, we get in bed and I rest my head on his chest, and the problems melt away. He is my safe space. Story 16. We actually like each other. Relationships have ebbs and flows in passion and romance. Some couples may be madly in love and very romantic, but when a slow period hits, they discover they do not enjoy just hanging out. We enjoy both intimacy and quiet time, like sitting on opposite ends of the couch watching Jeopardy. Story 17. Conflict is inevitable, but fighting is a choice. Make it a point to always be kind to each other, even when you're butting heads. Story 18. We have been together 16 years. He is my family. He drives me insane a lot of the time, and I drive him insane too. But I could not imagine living with anyone else. If I had to say what the secret is, it is communication and kindness. Story 19. 19 years of compromise and knowing that, even in bad times, this is the person I want to spend my life with. Story 20. We are closing on 50 years together, 46 married. First, we are friends. We have common and different interests, so we are together but not 24/7. Second, commitment. Not a marriage vow commitment, but a commitment to both of us giving 100% to our relationship, not the 100% between us type. Third, being comfortable with each other. We share the housework according to who is available at the time, not by your job and mine. Also, the comfort of silence. Being together without having to interact all the time. We can spend a whole evening together reading or online and hardly say a word, yet we are still together enjoying each other's company. Other times it is constant back and forth with "look what I found," or "you are not going to believe this" type stuff. Story 21. Say "I love you" often. Say kind things whenever you think them. You might be surprised how often people assume the nice things are implied after many years together and only say critical things. Even if you have told your husband he is handsome before, say it again out loud. He may really need kind words. Story 22. We are best friends. Our friendship began in 1982, and we remain best friends after 38 years of marriage. It helps that we agree on most things. You asked for a decade. We have over 4 decades, so I hope that counts. Story 23. Avoiding absolutes like always and never in a relationship is essential for fostering healthy communication and maintaining harmony. Here is why this matters and how it can help prolong a marriage. 1. Reduces conflict and defensiveness. Phrases like "you always do this" or "you never listen to me" are often exaggerated and inaccurate. They can make your partner feel unfairly criticized or attacked, leading to defensiveness and conflict. Focusing on specific instances encourages a more constructive discussion. For example, say, "I felt unheard during our conversation earlier," instead of "you never listened to me." 2. Encourages fairness. Absolute statements dismiss positive actions or efforts your partner has made, no matter how small. This can make your partner feel unappreciated. Acknowledging their efforts, even when there are areas for improvement, helps balance the conversation and fosters mutual respect. 3. Allows for growth and flexibility. Absolutes suggest a fixed mindset and imply your partner is incapable of change. This can discourage efforts to grow or improve in the relationship. Using language that reflects hope and openness, for example, "I would appreciate it if we could work on this together," creates a sense of teamwork and possibility. 4. Fosters emotional safety. When one partner uses absolutes, the other may feel judged or misunderstood, which erodes emotional safety and trust over time. Avoiding extreme language shows you value your partner's feelings and are open to dialogue rather than blame. 5. Promotes better problem solving. Absolutes escalate emotions and derail problem solving because they focus on blame rather than the issue at hand. Replacing always and never with words like often, sometimes, or in this instance, keeps the conversation solution-oriented. Example: shift in communication. Instead of "you never help with the chores," try "I feel overwhelmed managing the chores. Can we create a plan to share them more evenly?" By avoiding absolutes, you promote understanding, reduce conflict, and create a space where both partners feel valued and heard, which are key ingredients for a lasting marriage. Story 24. In a relationship, you have to talk a lot. It can be tiring, but we do not expect everything to be perfect all the time. Relationships ebb and flow. There will be periods when you are not feeling as close or not as happy. The important thing is that if something is important to me, it is important to him, and vice versa. I know he is my ride or die and he feels the same about me. Overall, be considerate. Story 25. Maintain communication and keep the passion burning. Talk, laugh, disagree, and flirt. Disagreeing is allowed and healthy. It leads to deep conversations and helps you learn about each other. Don't weaponize words or be vindictive. You can disagree without arguing. Story 26. 16 years together. We bonded almost instantly and have always gotten along. We never go to bed angry. We always give each other a hug and a kiss goodbye in the morning or whenever we leave, and we say I love you every day. We cuddle every night. Many other things explain why we have lasted so long, but little gestures like these make a big difference. Story 27. My Aunt Mary, who was divorced for my entire life, said the smartest thing about relationships I have ever heard. Relationships are not 50-50. They are 100% from each person. If you are in one that is less than 100%, or you are giving less than 100%, it is not going to be the one that works. I wish she had found someone who gave her 100% before she died. Story 28. For 12 years, my wife and I have used a team metaphor. Be a good teammate to your partner. You share the same goals, face the same obstacles, celebrate the same wins, and accept the same losses. Everyone says communication is key, but what are you actually communicating about? Strategy, tactics, motivation, and congratulations are what teammates discuss. If you are a good teammate, you must be selfless. On a team, sometimes you catch the touchdown and sometimes you are the equipment manager, but you always do whatever the team needs to win. Story 29. We took a break from dating when I moved to a new state for my career, but we stayed in touch nearly every day. We have been friends, partners, and married for 11 years. The secret is that we make each other laugh. Even the worst times of my life were better simply because he was in my world. I have struggled with depression, faced legal troubles, and lost people and pets, and he always managed to make those moments much easier. We are on the same page about the important things and readily compromise on small matters, so there is little to fight about. We often think the same thoughts at the same time, which can be startling. Story 30. I am truly happier with her in my life. I make decisions and act with that always in mind. 27 years. Story 31. Go see a couples therapist before you start having problems. We discovered a pattern in our arguments that, looking back, would have escalated if we had not learned to communicate better when we did. On a related note, learn or get help to learn how to argue without fighting. It amazed us to find a way to argue that actually brought us closer together. We still disagree frequently about many things, yet each disagreement teaches me something new to love about her. Story 32. Communication is important, and wanting to see your partner happy by finding reasons to make them smile every day, even small ones, and showing you care about the smallest details can go a long way. Story 33. We have been married for 14 years. There is no secret or big reveal. It is all the small things every day that add up to success. Take an interest in your partner and their life, even if you do not geek out on the same things. Empower each other to follow your dreams and take turns making power plays. Respond to bids for connection and be clear about your needs and boundaries. Story 34. Along with other great qualities like communication and commitment, I will add serving each other. When I serve her, she wants to serve me, which makes me want to serve her, and so on. It is a never-ending positive cycle that we gladly live in. Additionally, I will add complete openness and honesty. We have no secrets from each other. Everything that is mine is hers, and vice versa. Story 35. Communication, honesty, and working through issues together. Something I learned recently. You may hold things in because you are afraid to burden others or because you fear they will think less of you. Trust me, they would rather help you than grieve for you. Approaching 20 years of marriage. Have a safe and happy holiday season. Story 36. We share similar values, maintain open communication, and are both willing to compromise. Story 37. Put in the effort. Communicate. If there is an issue, talk it out plainly and do not be too proud to take corrective action. If that is the person you want to be with, finding common ground is important. Story 38. Communication. Get on the same page about the issue. Identify the problem and find a resolution together. Trust. Patience. Story 39. My husband is relentlessly kind to me. You cannot stay angry with someone who cooked your favorite meal last night while you relaxed with a glass of wine on the couch. We share a similar sense of humor and goals in life. Story 40. More than 20 years together. The secret for me is never seriously considering the alternative. I do not mean this in an unhealthy way. I am not advocating staying in an abusive relationship. There will be tough times, times when you do not like each other, and moments when you wonder if the grass is greener. If you think giving up is an option, it will become one. My wife is no less my family than my blood relatives. It does not make sense to me that we could ever be apart. Story 41. Equality between partners is essential. Always keep in mind what needs to be done and what is fair for each person to handle. Fairness is key, as is genuine respect and love for your partner. Story 42. 11 years. Don't be mean to one another. I see so many couples speak to each other as if they hate one another. That will not last. Story 43. I am deaf. Most of the time, she just wants someone to listen rather than solve her problems. Initially, I go into problem-solving mode for everything she says. I learned quickly that this is not what she wants. Most of the time, she just wants a sounding board. She is blind. She ignores and accepts my faults. If it is not a big deal, she lets it go. Postscript. I do not have any faults, at least in my view. Haha. Story 44. Almost 20 years together. It is not complicated. Communicate. Be faithful. Avoid putting yourself in precarious situations. Make sure things balance out. Be thoughtful and offer compliments in flirting. Do the same things you would do when you first start dating someone who really interests you. You just happen to already be with that person. I love flirting with my wife. It is fun for me. Sometimes it annoys her, I can tell, but she always seems a little happier for the rest of the day. Story 45. Separate bank accounts. In 27 years, I have never complained about her spending money on a handbag. We have never argued about me buying a new golf club. I have no idea how much money she has or does not have. She has no idea about mine. We each pay an income-adjusted share of the bills. I make about 35% more, so I pay 35% more of the bills. She wants a car. She goes and buys one. I do the same. Story 46. 16 years. Honestly, I can't stand him. But at the end of the day, we both know we will be there for each other through whatever. Story 47. Be honest. Put the marriage before yourself. Do not expect anything more than what you are willing to put in, whether that is communication, chores, or affection. If you are not willing to do it, do not expect to get it back. Show grace and patience, because no one is perfect. They may need it today, and you may need to beg for it tomorrow. Finally, pick and choose your battles. It is frustrating that he does not get all the clothes in the hamper, but is it really worth going to bed angry about it? She might never fill the car with gas. Look at it as an opportunity to do something nice for her. If it is not truly worth fighting about, do not fight. Story 48. It boils down to communicate issues as they arise and address them before resentment builds. Be kind and trust each other. All these points require both partners to do their part, or they will not work. Story 49. 4 decades here. There is no secret and no single answer. For us it is compatibility, but there cannot be compatibility without communication. Talk about everything. If you cannot do that, reevaluate. If you cannot talk about something, it leads to resentment. Resentment leads to contempt, and there is no going back from contempt. If it gets that far, go your separate ways. I do not mean waiting to get something off your chest or dumping a bucket of water on their head. If you cannot discuss things as they come up, reevaluate. It is an ongoing process that never goes away, but it becomes much easier as time goes by. Story 50. Love is one thing, but you have to like them. I love my wife and I also like her. She is never boring. After 26 years of marriage, we have argued, gotten loud plenty of times, and said some terrible things to each other. But we do not hit, we forgive, and we do not harbor long-standing grudges. You must want to know who they are, not just who they pretend to be before the curtains close. Love who they are underneath it all. Once you do that and commit to them that way, you are vulnerable to being hurt, but your relationship will feel easy. Story 51. Laugh at each other's silly jokes and say thank you when the other takes care of small chores. We both do things for one another. Noticing their joy and effort makes days and weeks much easier. Story 52. Together since we were 15, we are 26 now. I would not say we have any kind of secret, but communication is important. Personally, I think if you are not compatible, it is just not going to work. That does not mean you need to be opposites or exactly alike. Do whatever works for you. If it does not work, there is no way to make it work. Story 53. I will likely divorce this year after 23 years. Here is my advice. Communicate. Listen. Interpret these three things as holistically as possible and expect the same from your partner. If you do not have these skills mastered, or you have tried them and remain out of alignment and it is a deal breaker, leave. Story 54. We are a team. It is her and me, not her versus me. We balance each other well in terms of personality. There are things one of us is not good at, but the other is, which allows us to support each other where needed. Story 55. Unconditional love. 3 decades in, love is the most important. Everything else follows. Respect, patience, kindness, goodness, honesty. Story 56. Together for 12 years, married for 10. Laughter is important. Accepting the other person for who they are, not who they could be. Choosing which battles to fight. Communication. Time together and time apart. Understanding that there are ebbs and flows in a relationship. We have had many downs and many ups. Remembering we are a team, although sometimes we forget. Story 57. A sense of humor and genuinely liking and loving the person. Forgiveness. Married 24 years. Story 58. Learn how to fight fair. Disagreements do not have to end in tears. Voices do not need to be raised. And trying to win every time is toxic. Communication is key, and emotional intelligence that lets you disagree with your partner while still showing respect is essential. Story 59. Teamwork. No secrets, no lies, no exit strategy. Decide before the wedding that you are committed for life. Plan to grow old together even when you forget to take your pills. Share a bank account and tell each other everything. You succeed when your partner is happy. Having children will not improve your marriage. They will expose existing cracks. So build a strong partnership before a child arrives. You are all in this together. If one teammate loses, you all lose. Story 60. Do not keep score. If the other person has the bravery to ask for something, you have a duty to find a way to say yes. Story 61. Love and respect for each other. We have been together for more than 20 years. That is all you need. Story 62. 41 years of compromise, amiability, kindness, listening, being together, shared interests, mutual support, and love. Story 63. Here is an example. Even while my wife and I were trying to stop using drugs, she got clean faster than I did. We had an arrangement. I never hid when I was getting a bag, so we did not have an issue. Now we are both clean because we communicated about the problem and found a solution we could both live with. Story 64. Communication, as everyone has said. There is a point where you do not keep secrets from each other, except temporary things like presents and so on. If someone tells you something, you share it with your partner. You move from thinking about what you are getting from the relationship to thinking of the relationship as part of who you are. One pitfall of many relationships is an ideal of perfection. It can end relationships prematurely. The idea that once you find the right partner, everything is easy leads people to treat any bumps as signs that they are not the one. Conversely, it can also keep people in a bad relationship as they keep trying to make it work for a perfect future that never comes. The reality is that many long-term relationships hit a major obstacle at some point. When both partners honestly face it together, work on improving themselves, and figure out what they really want, it strengthens the relationship immensely. Story 65. Unable to complete the divorce paperwork. Story 66. We have been together 11 years. Our shared sense of humor has carried us through tough times. Pick your battles. Make an effort to be affectionate and intimate. Grow together, not apart. Spend quality time together. Doing fun activities outside the house helps maintain excitement. Take an interest in what your partner is passionate about. It is attractive to see them talk excitedly about something they love. Story 67. We get along naturally. We share interests and goals. We respect each other and go out of our way to make each other's day better. Story 68. We both want to make each other happy, and it drives our day-to-day life. It is not something that can simply be done or a behavior you can deliberately focus on. It comes from within and becomes the way you think and prioritize things. Story 69. 10. Newlyweds. My 45th birthday is coming up later this month. There is no real secret. We just like each other and really get along most of the time. She is funny and laughs at my jokes. She is attractive, which helps from my point of view. She has a high tolerance for me, so it all just works. Story 70. We choose to love and care for each other every day and to direct our choices towards strengthening our family. Story 71. 11 years together with laughter and deliberate effort. We have so much fun, and we make a point of learning what matters to one another and lightening each other's burdens when possible. Story 72. I have always been told that the most important things in a relationship are honesty and trust, which are necessary for good communication. For married or long-term couples, where does money come into the picture? Story 73. After 40 years together, in the heat of the moment, an argument or disagreement without abuse or violence, you literally have to fight to the point of asking yourself whether you want to stay. It is much easier to say no, I'm out. But many times sleeping on it and talking lead to a different outcome. Story 74. 33 years. We pretty much took each other hostage and cannot afford the ransom. Story 75. Always have something to look forward to. Communicate. Story 76. I honestly don't know what makes her different from the women who came before her. We just work. I can't imagine life without her. Story 77. Keep it fun. After 15 years, he is still the most interesting person I know. Story 78. We have both dated poorly, lived through difficult times, and still dream of the good. We communicate. We share similar goals and interests. We support each other. We listen, and we know when to ignore and offer a hug instead. Story 79. I love her. I am attracted to her. And I respect her as a person. She is very kind. Story 80. Almost 15 years here. There are many things I could say. If I had to narrow it down, they are communication, understanding, and empathy, and taking responsibility for your own problems, including mental health and similar issues. We have had plenty of ups and downs, but our relationship is stronger and happier now than ever. Another important lesson for us has been to ignore other people's opinions and make choices that are best for our family. We do what makes us happy, and we always choose each other no matter what. I feel lucky to have this relationship, and I am happy our son is growing up in a home where he is loved and sees his parents love each other. I did not have that growing up, so it is healing to be so loved and to have the chance to love my partner. Story 81. Be on the same team. Approach everything with the intention of having each other's backs. Story 82. We dislike the same thing. 15 years and not slowing down. Story 83. 10 years married this January. 13 years together. The secret is to laugh together as often as you can, let fights happen, and do not hate each other at the same time. Story 84. Find someone you do not fight with. That is the trick. 24 years and counting. Story 85. We were together for 27 years. Then she died of cancer. Love each other. Communicate. Apologize as soon as you think you might be wrong. Let them see you being vulnerable. Forgive anything that is not exceptionally cruel. Hopefully your partner has no such skeletons. Give the space your partner asks for, and take your own space as needed. except minor annoyances. Did I mention love? Have similar or at least overlapping tastes. My wife and I loved science fiction. I did not force her to watch superhero or horror films, and she did not force me to watch The Good Witch. Story 86. Luck plays a role, and both people need to be committed to doing the work. My husband and I are very different people from when we married at ages 21 and 22. We are now 36 and 37. We were fortunate that we changed along the same trajectory, and when times got tough, we were committed to working through problems and improving ourselves for each other. If even one of us had not changed on the same trajectory or had not been committed to fixing things over the years, we would not have made it to this point. Story 87. Laughing out loud. A decade is not a long time. I knew someone who was with their partner for over 20 years and they ended up splitting. Story 88. Let the little things go. Married 10 years, together for 16 years. Story 89. Be two good people with common goals and similar outlooks on life. That is kind of it. I am not sure if that is a secret, but that has been 13 years of marriage so far. If you are looking for secrets or guides, you might need to wait for marriage and work on yourself. There is nothing wrong with that. I waited until I was in my early to mid-30s to get married because I did not think I was a good person before. Story 90. Advocate for yourself and champion your partner's interests. Story 91. I am a 47-year-old man and have been in this relationship for 18 years. We are a lot alike. We have similar views and a similar sense of humor. We keep most finances separate. We give each other personal space. We respect each other's opinions and strive to communicate even when it is difficult. Probably most important, we are not married. We watched our parents' marriages fail badly. We prefer to be together because we want to, not because we are contractually obligated. Story 92. Communication and jokes. If your partner cannot make fun of you, or you cannot make fun of your partner and still remain a solid unit of support and good communication, then you have nothing. I have been with mine since 2010, and he is my very best friend. We have had our fights and near breakups, but we were determined to figure it out and stay together, so we worked on it. Long-term partnership or marriage is work, but it can be productive. Story 93. We have been married 12 years and together for 19 years. If I try to succinctly explain how we are still together, the answer is that we not only love each other, we also genuinely like one another. Story 94. Be sure to like your partner. You spend a lot of time together, and it is much more pleasant when you enjoy each other's company. Story 95. Communication and support. Actively enjoying one another's company and spending quality time together. Story 96. We ignored red flags and compromised when we should not have. My girlfriend and I both stayed with our previous partners for about 20 years, 21 and 19 years respectively. We are both far happier now in our relationship than we ever were in our previous ones. I planned to break up with my previous partner 3 months into the relationship when September 11th, 2001 happened. I figured I should love the one you are with, as Stephen Stills would say. He was wrong, and Osama bin Laden was responsible for the attacks. Story 97. 18 years going strong. Adjusting is the key. Sometimes people mistake adjustments for compromise, but that is not always true. My husband hates romantic movies and I dislike superhero movies, yet we watch both for each other. Also, communicate. Say what you feel and have a good conversation. If things heat up, step back for a while. Story 98. Don't assume someone did something just to upset you. Mistakes happen, and people cannot be mindful of others' feelings all the time. Story 99. We are approaching 9 years together. The most important things for us have been honesty, communication, respect, and continuing to find joy in each other's company. You do not need to be rich, but managing lifestyle stressors such as finances, childcare, and long-term decision-making needs to be as good as possible. Even the best relationship can fall apart if lifestyle circumstances are chaotic. I admit some people handle chaos better than others, so your mileage may vary. Story 100. Open, fearless communication, kindness, respect, and a good sense of humor. Story 101. To love each other enough to get through everything together. Without love, neither of us would have kept going. Story 102. We have been together since 2011 and were married this past April. Communication is very important. We were friends with similar interests for 2 years before becoming a couple. Story 103. Workable, tap, bewildered, hospital, squeamish, panicky, roof, bow, soft crown. Story 104. I heard a quote. There are 3 rings in marriage. The engagement ring, the wedding ring, and the suffer ring. That sounds depressing, but it is helpful to remember that if you love someone, you will suffer for them. I am not talking about putting up with abuse. I am talking about having to make some sacrifices. They will have to do that sometimes for you as well. It is not like that all the time, but there will be difficult times. 1 Corinthians chapter 13 is a great passage to read. The part that stands out to me is the phrase bear with one another. There are going to be times when that is what it feels like. Living with another person will always have some challenges. I have been married to my husband for nearly 20 years, and mostly it has been wonderful and amazing. There have been some hard times too. It is worth it. Story 105. 15 years here. Communication and sharing the load are key. No lying, being upfront, and maintaining our own interests as individuals. Honestly, we each found our soulmate, which has made everything easier. Story 106. My wife and I have been together for 20 years. First and foremost, she is the best friend I have ever had. From our first date, I felt almost immediately more comfortable with her than I had ever been with another person, as if we had known one another for years. We are a team. We work together and our tastes overlap by about 80% on most things. We have similar senses of humor and similar moral and ethical centers. We are both honest and treat each other, and everyone else, with kindness and respect. Now parents of a 13-year-old and a 10-year-old, we are usually on the same page in that regard and are both very involved with our children every step of the way. Story 107. Help each other. Do not compete to be the better person. Story 108. Never watch the other person poop. You did not when you were first dating, so why would you after 10 years of marriage? Story 109. Communication, yes. But you also need to respect one another and be worthy of that respect. Story 110. Active, honest communication, autonomy, laughing, and keeping things spicy in the bedroom. 19 years and going strong. Story 111. We have been together for 13 years. We have no marital problems. The first 2 years are a little difficult as you adjust to one another. We have clearly defined roles, which helps a lot. I protect and provide for her and take care of the car, the trash, and other hard tasks. She helps me in every way and cooks well. I give most of my income to her and she manages the budget. She is an accountant, after all. We are romantically involved every day. It feels like we just met and cannot get enough of each other. The key for us is that we give each other space and do not pry into each other's private affairs. We sleep in different bedrooms. That is important. You need to sleep alone, but visit each other's rooms often. Story 112. Separate beds, or even better, separate rooms. Getting a good night's sleep is one of the most important factors in a successful relationship. The sex life may fade sooner or later, but sleep remains essential. 20 years in and still going strong. Story 113. Communication is the obvious answer, but my wife and I were friends before dating, and I believe genuine friendship is the key to a successful marriage. Story 114. 25 years together. We both have our own stuff going on. She has her interests and I have mine. We sleep in separate rooms. It is shocking how good that is for your marriage. She is a night owl. I am an early bird and a restless sleeper, so it has been great. We have separate bank accounts. Seriously, we never argue about money. We are together because we like each other. We raised an awesome child who is in graduate school for chemistry, and after decades together, we still like each other. I think a lot of it is because we want to be together, not because we have to be due to money or shared obligations. Story 115. We are great friends and genuinely enjoy each other's company. Story 116. We have been married for 27 years and together for about 33. We prioritize good communication, do not go to bed angry, and do not sweat the small stuff. We give each other space when needed and provide closeness when wanted. We listen without trying to solve every problem. We give occasional hand and foot rubs and recognize when things are done well. We offer many expressions of thanks for keeping the home and organizational tasks in order. We can honestly say we have almost never had a fight because life outside is challenging enough. We are fortunate that neither of us is a difficult person, at least in our view. Story 117. Respect, loyalty, friendship, and healthy sexual intimacy. Story 118. Honestly, sheer force of will at times and a determination not to cheat on each other. Story 119. We have a lot in common. We enjoy the same friends, food, and exercise. Everything clicked immediately, and she is my best friend. Story 120. There is no real secret. I would focus on three things: communication, compromise, and commitment. Communication makes it easier to understand how the other person is feeling and to identify issues. Compromise helps people meet in the middle so both sides can have a small win. Commitment must come from both partners for the relationship to succeed. If one person puts in more effort than the other, the relationship will struggle. Story 121. Marry someone who is honest and kind. Then work together as a team. Story 122. Communication. When something is bothering us, we talk about it like adults. We do not let it simmer, we do not place blame, and we do not go to bed without resolving the issue. Story 123. 53 years together. Never go to bed angry. You will have arguments and disagree about many things. You have to learn to accept each other. When the money gets tight, work it out. The concerts, parties, fancy clothes, even six-packs and Magnum bottles are sacrificed to feed the kids and get them to school. Avoid shopping on Amazon. It is worth it in the end. Story 124. I will give you a one-word answer. Gossip. Tell your partner everything and share openly. It will create a strong bond between you. Story 125. My wife and I have been together for 22 years. We have made it last by having great communication, respecting and loving each other, and enjoying time together and apart. Story 126. We have true respect for each other. Once we began to honor each other as we are, we found much more peace. I am highly driven and he is much more content with life as it is. We spent a few years bickering because I thought I was always right and he thought the things I got worked up about were not that serious. I realized that without his calm, I would work myself too hard and burn out repeatedly. I know because that was how life was before him, and those burnouts were usually followed by a period when I was unproductive and unbearable. He realized that my drive pushed our family upward. So we began working to complement each other's strengths and lift each other up through our weaknesses. We are a blended crew with my 2 teen daughters and our 5-year-old son, which adds spice to the whole mix. Story 127. We value communicating, laughter, and being silly. We have been together since we were 15 and 16. We are now 47 and 48. I read something as a young teenager about how to behave with a partner when you are upset. It said something like, when upset or arguing, never say you always or you never. This always stuck with me, and I remember mentioning it to him when we began dating. It worked for us. We tell each other how we want to be treated. Story 128. We genuinely like each other. We are each other's best friends. We are both relaxed, which helps. We have become good at communicating our needs. Story 129. We just reached 8 years yesterday. We got together at age 16 and have been strong ever since. Communication is a cliché, but it really is the most important thing. Do not let emotions get in the way. Talk things through and be there for one another. Luckily for us, we just click, and it could not be better. Story 130. Empathy. If you want to be understood, seek to understand first. Our relationship comes first. We do not involve others in our disagreements, and we do not let anyone come between us. Story 131. I am not sure whether your question was directed at couples who have been together a decade or also at people like me. Here is my answer. We have been together 27 years and counting. We learned to give each other space and to enjoy each other's company. It took time, but that was the vital recipe for our happiness. Story 132. 13 years. We are best friends. Above all, we like each other and want what is best for each other. If we disagree, we always work to figure out what is best for both of us. Story 133. Do pet the sweaty things and do not sweat the petty things. Story 134. 11 years together. Honest communication, admitting when you are wrong, and having similar interests. Sit on the couch together. Avoid separate furniture. Story 135. I spent 22 years with my ex, and I am in my 13th year with my current partner. My secrets to a long-lasting relationship. Learn to laugh with each other and be able to laugh at yourselves. Do not base the relationship around your feelings or your happiness. In my opinion, that is selfish. Instead, base it around your duties and responsibilities to your partner and the partnership goals. You will not always be happy, and that is no reason to end a relationship. There will be ups and downs. Kiss a lot, and I mean a lot. Grab and squeeze her booty as often as you can, and tickle her when she does not expect it. Laugh. Respect each other's boundaries. Be quiet and actually listen to your partner instead of listening just to respond, as if you were defending yourself in court. Make sex fun and exciting. Keep the attraction alive by changing things up and trying new things in new places. You will get used to your partner's looks, habits, wants, and so on. Be flexible and open-minded. If you do not like something, stop and try something else. For the women, all that fancy, high-dollar so-called sexy stuff is overblown. Just wear a t-shirt and some loose cotton shorts. They are just as sexy because they leave something to the imagination. For the men, keep your hygiene on point. Smell is a powerful sense, so get your body very clean when it is time to be intimate, and expect the same from your partner. Never forget, we were designed to live and exist together as a couple, but your partner cannot be everything to you. They cannot be your lover, advisor, chef, maid, bodyguard, accountant, plumber, primary caregiver, best friend, and confidant all at once. Do not overload them with all of your issues. Seek advice from close associates and friends, family members, and professionals. Keep your partner aware, but let them understand that they do not need to be and cannot be the person who fixes everything in your life. I personally think marriage was not designed for you to drop all your problems onto one person. That is too much, especially if they have a stressful job. Having relationship skills is something you learn and develop. If you cannot maintain a relationship for 3 to 5 years or so, seek help in developing actual skills that will help you, such as learning how to properly communicate your thoughts and opinions. Story 136. I know it is often said, but communication really is the key. It is not just talking, you must also listen. Story 137. Multiple orgasms a week. My wife added it up the other day, and after 20 years we are at about 8,000 orgasms. Really though, my wife is my best friend and has been since we were 16. We make a great team and nothing matters as long as we have each other. We have been dirt poor and we have also had our pockets full. Money does not matter much to us, and we have shared finances for years. We never really cared to go out partying with just the boys or just the girls. We would rather go out together. Story 138. Respect. Honesty. Communicate about everything. Do not take each other for granted. 39 years as of this month. Story 139. Communication, shared values, time apart and time together, and hugs. Story 140. I just think we still have each other's best interests in mind. I am happy making her happy, and she does what she thinks is best for me. Neither of us is trying to win anything. Story 141. Today was our 10-year anniversary. I remember walking down the street with him, holding hands even though we were arguing about something, and thinking, yeah, I could argue this way forever. We married shortly after. Choose someone you can disagree with and still want to wake up with the next morning. Story 142. I really like him. We also have many overlapping interests. Story 143. Communication, dating each other regularly, plan spontaneity, putting each other first, and prioritizing our marriage before our children while working as a team to raise them. Most importantly, we value our faith and our commitment to uphold the vow we made. 14 years. Story 144. Don't sweat the small stuff. Luckily, my husband and I are pretty laid back about housework, but we work hard on the important things. Our education, our jobs, and raising our children. It has kept us from having stereotypical fights about laundry on the floor or not having any money in the bank. He finds caring for his children deeply fulfilling. I think many dads are struggling to fake it, or worse, do not even try. This may be an indelible character trait, but I would not know. I am also naturally inclined to care for them. Story 145. Look, things haven't been perfect. We've both had a lot of growing to do, personally and together, including toxic fights, hurt feelings, and hard conversations. We almost didn't make it a few times. We do our best to work on our issues, learn from our mistakes, and handle things as a team. We not only love each other, we like each other. Even after almost 12 years together, we are still best friends. Story 146. Communication and compromise are essential. The hungry, angry, lonely, and tired rule. Try not to make decisions or react strongly when you are hungry, angry, lonely, or tired. If one person is venting, the other person needs to establish whether they want to rant or seek solutions. Story 147. We had patience, communication, and a healthy sex life. We made it through the first decade, but then we lost that intimacy. After a few years, patience began to dwindle, and after the second decade, we divorced. By the end, we were more like friends and roommates. Neither of us was really in love anymore. Communication remained, but we rarely spoke, and when we did, it was brief and to the point, like talking to an acquaintance. Thanks a bunch for sticking around till the end of the video. Remember to subscribe, and until next time, stay awesome and goodbye.